Hello, families. My name is Pamela Schertz, and I am one of the title teachers at Furry and the literacy coach here. And I am making this video because your child has brought home what we call a RIMP, a Reading Improvement Monitoring Plan. And I just wanted to make sure that you understand the RIMP, what every section means. So when you come to conferences, you feel like you have the knowledge to come in and talk to your teacher about their child's reading plan. So you can see here at the very top of your child's RIMP, again, that's a reading improvement monitoring plan. You are going to see the school they go to, the date, their name, their teacher that teaches reading, which at Furry Elementary, it's usually their homeroom teacher, first, second grade, kindergarten. It'll have your names here as parent or guardian, and then it'll have their current grade, and it will also say the grade levels they have been on a RIMP. So like for first and second grade, if your child was on a RIMP in first grade and your child is in second grade now, you will see first and second grade checked. If your child is in second grade now and they were on a RIMP in kindergarten and first, then you will see kindergarten first and second grade checked. So this means that these are the grade levels that your child was on a RIMP. The next section says the student is identified as. If your child is not an English language learner or they are not a student with a disability or have a 504, none of these boxes will be checked. So if nothing is checked here, that is completely fine. This explains what a reading improvement monitoring plan is. And the purpose of a RIMP is to ensure that all stakeholders are actively involved in supporting your child's reading development. So when I say stakeholders, I'm talking your child's homeroom teacher, you as the parent, the title teacher, anyone else they work with in the school that's going to help them, like their intervention specialist. We are all a part of this child's reading plan and a part of their reading success. So basically, it holds us accountable for providing targeted instruction and intervention to close any academic gaps to promote your child's success. So that's what a reading improvement monitoring plan is. So down here, you are going to see assessment and screening. So how did my child get on a RIMP? So earlier in the year, we sent home their Acadian scores, okay? And if your child scored in the red on their reading composite score right here, that means we took multiple reading assessments. We took all of their scores and it gave us an estimate of your child's reading proficiency. If your child's overall score was in the red right here, that is how we determined if your child was going to go on a RIMP. So you will see their beginning of the year benchmark. It'll have the date, the student's score, their performance level. They were probably well below benchmark, and it will tell you the goal they should have been in the beginning of the year. Now, your student's score will probably be below the Acadian's benchmark, which is how we were able to identify if they were going to go on a RIMP. So if your child was put on a RIMP, then we dug a little further in assessments. So we used other tools to help pinpoint where your child needs the most help and most support. So that will be right here. And everything that we use within Perkins Local Schools for literacy is research based. It's based on the science of reading. So the science of reading is decades of research on how the brain learns to read. So we are wired to speak. We are not wired to read. So we have to carefully teach your child how to read systematically so that they can keep building those skills and become a more proficient reader. Also down here, we have services and support. So this is going to tell you what we are going to focus on with our interventions to help your child close that gap. Will they be on phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, and all of the definitions are right there for you. If not every box is checked, that is okay. That just tells you that we are focusing on skills that come before that to help close that reading gap for your child. So for example, if reading comprehension is not filled, that is totally fine. Maybe we're working on a different skill right now until we can get to reading comprehension. Down here are the tiers of support. So, tier one is basically what your child is getting in their classroom from their homeroom teacher, or if they go to walk to read. That is tier one. If they see a title teacher or they go to an intervention specialist or anybody else in the school outside of that tier one instruction, that is going to be labeled as tier two or tier three. So, this tells you really how many times a day or how many times a week or what we are doing to help your child. So they're getting their whole group instruction, they might be pulled in a small group, things like that. So we have to have codes in our EMIS system. So this basically tells us what code we are using to help your child become a proficient reader. So you can see here, like maybe we're working with your child on fluency, and we are going to go ahead and tell you how many days or times a week we are working on that, and how many days and how many minutes a day we are working on that skill. Again, not every box will be checked here. The only box that's going to be checked will be tailored to your child and their needs. So your child would do that for you. And also, these are the programs that we are using to assess your child. Again, everything is research based. So, are we using a cadence reading? Are we using a phonics screener to help what skills they need? And their actual bookworms, which is like their comprehension, their read alouds in their classroom. So this down here tells you how long your child will be on this plan. So this goes from fall to fall. So like I showed you down here, your child is in the red right now for the reading composite score. If they are in the red next year in the beginning of the year, so next year for first grade, next year for second grade, or next year for third grade, if they are in a red again, they will continue to be on a RIMP. So again, remember, this is for all stakeholders, and this makes sure that we are doing everything we can to help your child close those reading gaps. So this is from fall to fall. This section probably will not be filled in. It might be, but it probably won't, because the teacher will talk to you about this at conference time. We want to make sure that you've had time to read the plan. That's why we're sending it home now. And then when you come back at conference, your teacher will go over it with you to make sure you understand and that you agree with what we are doing, because again, you are a stakeholder in your child's reading progress. So these things will probably be talked about at your child's conference in November. So please come to that. It's very important. And down here, it will have the date of the meeting, the parents or guardians that were there, and their teachers and other people that are helping to provide support for them throughout the school day. So I really hope that this video was helpful in understanding what a RIMP is and why we put children on a RIMP. If you have any questions, here is my information. That is my email. But we really appreciate you taking the time watching this video, and we are here for you if you need anything. Remember, we are all stakeholders in your child's reading success, and we thank you very much for your time. All right, you have a good day. Bye-bye.